Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX Studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for GWBC Radio's Open for Business. Now, here's your host.
Lee Kantor, live from WBENC's National Conference in the GWBC booth 1812, if you want to stop by real quick. Right now, we've got an old friend, Tammy Cohen, with Infomart. Welcome, Tammy.
Thank you.
So excited to see you. Before we get too far into things, just a brief elevator pitch for Infomart. Tell us how you serve them folks.
Infomart is a global background screening company. So we do background checks for new hires, we do vendor screening, and we also do continuous monitoring on your current employees.
So there's a lot of job security in that service, huh? There's a lot of folks that need that?
Definitely, over and over again.
Now, how has it changed since you started? You've been doing this for a minute.
Oh, wow. Well, see, I'm going to date myself, but you can probably remember this. When there was no internet and no email and there was just fax machines. So it was just a paper shuffle, and it was even on the fax paper that was thermal that would...
the rolls.
Yeah, it would lose its color after so long, So I've been doing it a very long time. So mainly just, everything is electronic now.
And then now I'm sure people demand this service faster, right? The speed is an important component of this.
Just like the mail. You remember when you used to send something out and you had 3 or 4 days? Now you send something out and they email right back. So it's the same thing. So we generally get information out to our clients in a day.
So here we are at the WBENC National Conference. Have you been to these before?
Oh, yes. This
because with the pandemic, there hasn't been an in-person one like this.
No, there hasn't. But, I've gone to the ones years before. I go to a lot of trade shows, and this is actually the one I my favorite every year.
And the energy seems so high. Everybody's so optimistic and looking forward to this and connecting. It seems like there's hugs happening everywhere. Everybody's been holding in all these hugs for 2 years, and it's kind of exploding out on the conference floor.
Yes, it is. It's so good to get to see people and be able to hug them. But and everybody's excited to. This is one of those few shows you really do business at this show. And especially for women, you walk in knowing you're going to get business, and so it's exciting.
So, how do you attack the show?
I basically create my strategy before.
All right. So, what's the Tammy strategy?
Well, my strategy is I focus on a vertical that I've had verticals that I've made friends. So I'm going to go drop in on those verticals, say hi, and then I've got a couple of new verticals that I want to start, building relationships, because really it's about building. If you want a larger account, you have to build a relationship. Right. It takes many years and get to know you and your integrity, and so I just take my time and get to know people.
So you pick a vertical and then spend time kind of getting to know the players and who's here and who's, obviously, if they're here in a booth, they think this is important too.
Yes, and I spend time getting to know that vertical, the lingo, what is happening in the industry, what is their pain point, all types of, what types of background checks are they going to need? Are they doing retail where, theft is really important, or do they have drivers? So I try to look really deep and focus on that so I can really be a benefit to their organization.
Now, what about from an educational standpoint? Is there any kind of speaker you're excited to see or hear?
I always like the fireside chats. Because you get to really know somebody, and you really, I think I just love that, and I love panels. I always get so much out of a panel and a fireside chat. Right,
because this is stuff where you can get some actionable information that you could just put back into your business tomorrow.
Yes, and learn something that, wow, I need to contact them because I got a solution for them,
Right. Now, talk about GWBC a second. Why should a woman business get involved with GWBC? Why should they kind of invest the time it takes to get certified and actually go through the process?
So, a lot of people always think, you're just here to get contracts. And I think everybody joins for that reason. But what you really take away is you learn how to sell. You learn how to pitch on the fly. A lot of the corporates here I have had that have been great mentors that would say at the beginning, like, that was horrible. And you're like, what? That was a horrible pitch. So then, my very first WBENC meeting was a meet and greet table, and I sat down and everybody pitched, and I was nervous, and I did horrific. I walked away so embarrassed, and I was like, I will never do that again. So I really refined. 2 years later, I end up being in the final 5 on the perfect pitch competition on the big stage.
Wow.
And I thought, but that all came from WBENC and learning different, they have so many webinars and meetings, and you get a chance to constantly pitch.
Now, any advice for the listener about that perfect pitch? What are some kind of the most important do and the most important not do?
I think, first of all, keep it short. Keep it sweet, keep it factual, and, don't say, we've got the best quality. No, our turnaround time is a day. Give them the facts. Especially here. This is a tough sell because the corporate sees so many pitches and they talk to so many people, they have an expectation. So, but the benefit is when I go to do a sales meeting outside of WBENC, I've got it. I know what I'm doing,
So if somebody wants to learn more about Infomart, what's the website?
Backgroundscreening.com.
Well, Tammy, thank you so much for sharing your story today. You're doing important work, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, Lee. Well, so do you. We appreciate you.
All right, this is Lee Kantor broadcasting live from WBENC National Conference 2022, and we're inside the GWBC booth.